So in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to perform the deadlift with good form. All right, so let's get right into it. The main thing you wanna think about is your feet placement. You want your feet to be pretty much about hip width apart. That's what's gonna allow you to drive with the most amount of force into the ground. If you have your feet a little bit wider, that's gonna take away some of that power you can produce and the weight that you're gonna be able to lift in this movement. So feet hip width apart, and then you can adjust from there. From there, you wanna think about your hand placement. I like to say, for this one, a thumb's length away from your body, or to get an even hand placement on the barbell, a thumb's length away from the edge of the knurling or where the knurling meets the smooth part of the bar. So you do that. That's your hand placement. The next thing, you wanna make sure the bar is pretty much cutting your foot in half. That's what I like to say, or right at the middle of your foot. When you're set up with your hand placement and where the bar is on your feet, you wanna be able to keep your shins perpendicular to the ground. So wherever that places your shoulders, that's where they are. Based on your anatomy, your hips may be a little bit lower, your hips may be a little bit higher, but the main thing is you don't want your hips to be above your shoulders. This is gonna put a lot of excessive strain on your lower back. So hand placement here, bars over the middle of my foot, and now from this position, my shins are pretty much perpendicular to the ground. This is gonna allow for a straight bar path on the way up. We know the most amount of load can be lifted with the straight bar path, not necessarily going around. So shins perpendicular here. From this position, I wanna make sure my weight is balanced over my foot, but a little bit more into my heel. From there, I'm gonna screw my feet into the ground. This is gonna get me more tension in my glutes. From this position here, I'm gonna pull the slack out of the bar, tighten down my lats, and I'm gonna drive up and then drive my hips through, squeezing my glutes. I'm not excessively arching my back as I'm performing this movement, like so. I'm just squeezing my glutes at the top of the movement. Lowering the bar, you wanna start with your hips going back, and then you drop your hips just a little bit in order to allow the barbell to get to the ground without leaning over too far forward. While you're performing this movement, you wanna make sure you're maintaining a good back position throughout the lift. As you're going up and down, you don't want to pull off the ground like this or lower, starting like this. That's going to put excessive strain on your lower back. If you're not a power lifter, you can't get away with a little bit of arch in your back as you're pulling up off the ground without starting to accumulate some type of stress on the lower back. So that's how you perform the deadlift. See you in the next video.